Let's go Dolphins! The Dolphins coaching staff has just undergone a major overhaul, and that might only be the second biggest news of the week. We're talking about the departure of a key coach who will join Mcdaniel in Los Angeles, a potential rift forming in the locker room, and a running back among the top 5 in the NFL who may not even appear if Miami doesn't handle it correctly. It's not just about changes in the coaching staff. It's about control, power, identity. It's about whether this new Dolphins management is ready to impose its will or if it risks losing control of the locker room before training camp even begins. The Dolphins are aiming for the Super Bowl, but the road there could be much harder than fans imagine if these upcoming decisions aren't made perfectly. Intrigued? You should be. What I'm about to tell you might change your perspective on the direction the team is taking. But before we reveal everything, be sure to click the like button, only if you're a true Dolphins fan who's followed the team through its ups and downs. And leave a comment below. Go Dolphins! Let's dominate the AFC in 2026. Let's get into it. The Dolphins coaching staff has officially entered a new era, and it kicked off with a gut punch. Offensive line coach Butch Barry is out. He's following Mike McDaniel out west to the Los Angeles Chargers, holding the same position he's had in Miami since 2023. Now, there's been chatter among fans about whether this is a good or bad thing. Let me tell you where I stand. This is a loss for Miami. Sure, the O-line has declined in the last 2 seasons, but anyone paying close attention knows that was more about injuries and lack of depth from the front office than poor coaching. In 2023, this unit was elite. Austin Jackson turned his career around. Robert Hunt had a monster season and secured a 5-year, $100 million contract. Raheem Mostert rushed for over 1,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. That doesn't happen without a line that's opening lanes and holding strong. Even Patrick Paul went from disaster as a rookie in 2024 to looking like a cornerstone left tackle by his sophomore year. That development? That's coaching. That's Butch Barry. And now he's gone. Butch wasn't the only name to walk out the door. Brian Duker, who coached the defensive backs, is off to a division rival. Yep, the New York Jets. He's their new defensive coordinator, though it's worth noting he won't be calling plays. That'll still be Aaron Glenn's job. But Duker did some incredible work in 2025, particularly with Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas, and while this move wasn't unexpected, Miami had already lined up his replacement. It stings. It's hard losing good talent, especially to a rival. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Miami wasted no time in filling those coaching vacancies. Less than 2 hours after Butch Barry's departure, they had his replacement locked in, Zach Yenser. Most recently the assistant offensive line coach in Houston, Yenser has deep connections with offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. The two overlapped in San Francisco and again in Houston, where they worked closely together. So, there's chemistry here, and clearly a plan. But let's be honest, the jury's out. The Texans' O-line has been far from dominant, and while Yenser wasn't the head O-line coach, he wasn't exactly turning heads. Still, he brings experience from both the NFL and the college level. He coached Kentucky's O-line for 2 seasons, and now he's tasked with reviving a unit that desperately needs to bounce back. The tools are there: Aaron Brewer, Patrick Paul, Jonah Savania, James Daniels, maybe Austin Jackson if he sticks around, but improvement is a must. Whether Yenser is the guy to unlock that potential is a huge question mark. Next up, we've got a new name coaching the running backs, Ladell Betts. If you're an OG NFL fan, you might remember Betts from his playing days with Washington. He was a 1,000-yard rusher back in 2006, and while he never wore aqua and orange as a player, his roots run through South Florida. He started coaching at Coral Springs Academy, then moved up through Boca Raton and Pinecrest before landing a job at his alma mater Iowa and eventually making the leap to the NFL in 2025 with the Giants. So yes, this man grinded his way to the top. His arrival comes as a replacement for Eric Studsville, one of Mike McDaniel's most trusted guys, who also looks likely to join the Chargers. That's a huge shift. Studsville wasn't just the RB coach, he was the associate head coach. He helped develop Raheem Mostert's best season ever, and more importantly, had a hand in shaping what might be the strongest position group on the entire Dolphins roster, the running backs. Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, and Ollie Gordon, all under rookie contracts through 2026, make up what I consider an elite RB room. Betts inherits this group, and while his NFL experience is limited to 1 year, his work at Iowa was strong. He helped produce guys like Caleb Johnson and oversaw Devin Singletary and Cam Scatbo's growth with the Giants before Scatbo's unfortunate injury. Can Betts keep that room rolling? That's what we're about to find out. And speaking of that running back room, here comes the major storyline that could define Miami's offseason, Devon Achane. The star back is entering the final year of his rookie deal and set to become a free agent in 2027. But here's the catch. If the Dolphins don't get an extension done this offseason, there's a real chance he holds out of OTAs and training camp. You can't blame him. He's undersized, and injuries are always a risk. The smart move, both for the team and for Achane, is a contract extension now. You've got the cap space in 2027 to absorb the hit. Give him the deal. What would that deal look like? Something around 3 years, $54 million, $17 mil per year. It puts him in that top 5 range with McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. And he belongs in that tier. He's not just a runner. He's a dual-threat weapon. Miami has the chance to lock in a homegrown superstar who represents the very culture and identity they're trying to build. Sullivan and Hafley have talked about drafting, developing, and keeping your own. Here's your chance to put that into action. Let's pick it up right where we left off, because this situation with Devon Achane is far from just a contract discussion. It's about identity. It's about culture. It's about whether this new Dolphins regime is going to put their stamp on this team by keeping elite talent in-house or let one of the most electric playmakers in football walk out the door over dollars and cents. This is not just a guy who fits in the offense. This is the guy that makes the offense click when he's healthy. When Achane is on the field, the Dolphins are simply a different animal. His acceleration is unmatched. His ability to stretch the field horizontally with Mike McDaniel's wide zone concepts opens everything up, whether it's play action, deep shots to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, or even freeing up the offensive line by keeping defenses on their heels. Losing him or having this contract drama linger into training camp could fracture momentum and morale. But here's the angle people aren't talking about enough. What kind of message does it send to the locker room if you don't take care of a player like this? Someone who was drafted, developed, produced, stayed out of trouble, and delivered every time he stepped on the field. Guys like Achane are locker room cornerstones. When players see management back those kinds of guys, it creates belief. When they don't, it creates tension. So this is about a lot more than a salary cap hit in 2027. It's about setting a precedent, and the Dolphins can afford it. With over $100 million in projected cap space for 2027, this is a luxury Miami can afford right now without having to compromise any of their flexibility in free agency this offseason. The structure of NFL deals today allows them to front-load guarantees, back-load cap hits, and get creative. So there's no real excuse here. Now let's zoom out for a second. Look at what this team is trying to build. A new coaching staff is coming in, Jeff Hafley as head coach, Eric Sullivan taking control on the personnel side. And what they've preached so far, draft, develop, retain. That's their vision. That's what they're selling to fans, players, and the media. But visions only matter if you back them up with actions. Achane may not be a Sullivan pick, but he's the perfect example of what they claim to value. And it's not like his production is theoretical. He's already proven he can thrive in this system. He's the most dynamic running back in football under 200 pounds, and the only guy in his class that stacks up with the likes of Bijan and McCaffrey in both rushing and receiving impact. Let's be real, there are no guarantees in football. You can draft a replacement, sure, but will they be this explosive? Will they stay healthy? Will they hit the ground running like Achane did? That's a massive gamble, especially when you already have a guy who's producing at an elite level and hasn't even hit his prime yet. And then there's the trade idea, something some fans are whispering about. Move Achane now, get a high pick, reload at the position. But to that I say, unless someone offers a first-round pick or more, the value doesn't make sense. You're not just trading a player, you're trading chemistry, continuity, and a proven commodity in a scheme that's built around speed and spacing. Why trade that away to take a flyer on an unproven rookie when you already have the perfect fit? So the front office has a decision to make. Send the message that Miami is a place where players get rewarded for producing, or turn this into another example of letting homegrown talent slip away. If this team is serious about contending for a Super Bowl, that starts by keeping your best players on the field, not watching from home or holding out. Now, let's tie this all back to the coaching changes. New leadership is coming in, and while the departures of Butch Berry and Brian Duker sting, there's also a lot of optimism around the hires of Zach Yenser and Liddell Betts. These are coaches with something to prove, young, connected, and walking into positions with clear talent on the roster. Betts, in particular, has an enormous opportunity. He's inheriting the best running back room in the league, no question. If he can elevate Achane, Wright, and Gordon even more, we might be looking at historic numbers coming out of the backfield in 2026. And Yenser, though less proven, walks into a group that has pieces. With the right coaching, Patrick Paul could become a Pro Bowler. If James Daniels